The days had grown short and heavy, grey skies pressing down on our little town like a lid. Winter in Poland always carried silence differently. Not peaceful silence, but watchful. It was around that time we went to visit our family's graves, something we did when the air turned cold and the days lost color. My uncle and aunt picked us up that afternoon. Me, my cousin, and Grandma squeezed in the back seat, our breath fogging the windows. By the time we reached the cemetery, the sun was already gone. The gate creaked open at a slow, stubborn pace, complaining against the iron hinges. We were alone. Not even the usual stray cat that wandered near the entrance showed up. Grandma walked ahead with my aunt and uncle, candles clinking softly in the bag she carried. Me and my cousin lingered behind, our footsteps crunching the frozen gravel. The cemetery was huge and old, marble angels weathered into ghosts of themselves, crosses leaning like tired soldiers. To the left, there was a memorial for men who died in the war. Rows of stone tablets, each saying only unknown. The wind moved between them, like it was reading their names out loud. The older the cemetery, the thicker the stories, and I could feel centuries pressing in from every side. We whispered about nothing, school, TV shows, the usual kid talk, until something pulled my eyes to the right. Movement, small, quiet. Behind a tombstone, I saw what looked like a cat. Two white eyes were peeking at us through the dark. For a precious second, it almost felt sweet, like even in death, someone had a visitor. Then the eyes moved. They didn't blink. They didn't shift like an animal's. They just glided upward. The cat rose, stretching into a silhouette that was far too tall, too thin. Its pale outline, barely human. We didn't scream. We didn't speak. We just knew. There was no logic to it, just primitive panic, a sense that if we turned our backs, the thing would follow. But we turned anyway, and then instinct took over. We ran. We ran flat out through the rows of graves, boots scraping granite, breath slicing the cold. To anyone watching, it probably looked like two disrespectful kids fooling around. But to me, it felt like we were sprinting from something older than our family line. We found Grandma near our grandfather's grave, candles flickering gold around a stone. Our aunt scolded us right away. Running in cemeteries is sacrilegious, she said. We nodded, catching our breath, eyes locked on each other. That silent childhood conversation, did you see it too? Hung in the air between us. We didn't answer her questions, and we sure didn't tell her what we saw. Grandma lit the candles, whispered her prayer, and the tiny flames seemed to pull warmth back into the world. But still, I couldn't shake that feeling, the pressure on the back of my neck that said we weren't finished here. When we finally started walking again, the path twisted through tall trees that blocked even the moonlight. Each branch swayed like an arm, reaching down. The two of us stayed close to our grandmother's skirt, staring straight ahead. I thought about the thing behind the stone, how easy it would be for it to hide again among all these graves. My cousin whispered, "Do you think it's still here?" I didn't answer because the question didn't feel safe to answer. And then I made the mistake of looking up. For a heartbeat, I imagined it perched somewhere above us, staring from the trees. That thought burrowed into me like ice. Could it climb? Could it fly? I shook my head. No, keep it simple, keep it human. That's how fear works. The moment you let it grow wings, you lose. Adults make you believe they can protect you, and maybe that's enough. As a kid, I like to think Grandma's presence was an invisible shield, but deep down, I understood that shadows have no respect for age. We reached the far edge of the cemetery. Grandma's hand brushed against mine, warm enough to quiet the tremble in my fingers. I told myself, this is fine. It's quiet. It's over. We're safe. And then my aunt stopped walking. She tilted her head, pointing upward. Look, she whispered. There, on a branch sweeping low over the path, two white eyes glowed back at us, exactly like the ones behind the tombstone. The breath left my body. The world froze still. The creature crouched there, silent, coiled like a spring. Then, it leapt. It swept above us without a sound, cutting through the cold air and landed somewhere behind. I flinched, expecting claws. Instead came the softest scratch of talons on stone, followed by a faint squeak. Grandma moved faster than I've ever seen her. She grabbed a handful of salt from her coat pocket. Every Polish grandmother keeps salt, for flavor and for protection, and tossed it toward the darkness. We waited for a scream, a shadow, something, then a flutter of wings. The bird landed on a nearby headstone. An owl, just an owl, massive, solemn, offended by the drama. It blinked once, mouse dangling from its beak, then took off into the night. Grandma laughed. For the first time all day, the sound broke through the cold like sunlight. I tried to laugh too, but the sound stuck in my throat, because I knew what I saw first wasn't an owl. Owls don't rise like smoke. Owls don't see you before you see them. Still, I clung to the logic like a blanket. Let it be an owl. Let it always be an owl. My cousin whispered. Guess we were safe after all. I nodded. Sure, safe. I couldn't stop thinking on the drive home. The car's heater hummed, streets glowing wet and golden beyond the window. No one mentioned the incident, not Grandma, not my aunt or uncle. But every time the road curved through shadow, I found myself glancing at the trees. Half of me expecting those white eyes again. Half of me hoping I'd never see them. That night, lying in bed, I reached for the stuffed pink cat that slept by my pillow. Soft, familiar, real. I told it quietly, if the shadow follows us home, you'll scare it away, right? It didn't answer, of course. Just stared at me with the same glass eyes it always had. But at least they weren't white. At least they didn't blink. Now, years later, I still visit that cemetery. It's peaceful in daylight. Nothing sinister. Just rows of memories under moss and birdsong. But when the sun dips, I always feel that same old pulse beneath the soil. Like something buried still listens. I often wonder about the thing me and my cousin saw. Was it the same shadow that used to visit my room? Did it follow us to that place, waiting among the graves for recognition? Or was it something else entirely? A curious spirit, confused, maybe even lonely. Sometimes I think about it from the other side. Maybe it wasn't hunting us. Maybe it was watching us pray, wondering why we light candles for those who are already gone. Maybe, for a second, it wished someone would light one for it too. Still, if I ever see those eyes again, I'll run. Old habits die harder than fear. This is Mystery Whispers. Find comfort in the dark.